The succession crisis that had shaken the Ottoman Empire and the Kingdom of Hungary in previous years must have made Stefan of Moldavia look toward Poland with great anticipation after hearing of King Casimir's death. He had always been cautious but ambitious when great powers around him wavered. Perhaps he hoped to see another struggle for power like he had witnessed after the death of Sultan Mehmed, when the empire turned inward. Or maybe he dreaded what such a crisis could bring, remembering the chaos following the death of King Matthias Corvinus of Hungary. Whatever passed through his mind in those days remained his secret. Yet fortune did not provide him with another opening to exploit. There was no great struggle. Casimir's son John Albert ascended to the Polish throne without contest, while his younger brother Alexander was crowned Grand Duke of Lithuania. For Stefan, the question was not whether Poland and Lithuania had stability, but how he should react to it. Throughout his reign, Stefan had displayed remarkable intellect and instinct for foreign affairs. He had a sharp eye for the balance of power and always watched his neighbors closely. He leaned toward whichever ally would best serve Moldavia's security at a given time. He was neither rash nor naive. Thus his response to the new rulers of Poland and Lithuania was muted. He did not rush to choose sides or provoke conflict. He knew he already had friends in Moscow and Hungary, and at times could even rely on the shifting goodwill of Poland or the Ottoman Empire. For the moment, there was no reason to disturb the balance. In the spring of 1494, however, Casimir's sons met in the town of Lublin. Vladislaus was now king of Hungary. John Albert was king of Poland. Alexander ruled Lithuania. The three brothers gathered to discuss a joint campaign against the Ottoman Empire. Each of them now regarded the Ottomans as the common enemy. Cooperation between them might have been promising, but it was quickly poisoned by the ambition of John Albert. He was eager to strengthen his control in the region, and in his mind Moldavia was the key. He wanted to overthrow Stefan and replace him with his own brother Sigismund. News of this plot inevitably reached Stefan. He began to distrust the new Polish king and correctly guessed that John Albert wanted Moldavia under tighter Polish authority. His suspicions were confirmed when John Albert launched a campaign against the Ottomans in the occupied towns of Kilia and Setatea Alba, both of which Moldavia also had interest in. Stefan tried to stop this campaign, but he was unable to prevent the Poles from striking. He turned instead to his ally Ivan III of Moscow. Ivan was quick to support him and contacted his brother-in-law Alexander of Lithuania, urging him not to involve Lithuania in John Albert's war. Alexander agreed and stayed out of the conflict, leaving John Albert increasingly isolated. Still, the Polish king would not abandon his ambitions. In the summer of 1497, his armies invaded Moldavia. Stefan had seen this danger coming. He had carefully remained on good terms with Sultan Bayezid, who allowed Moldavia to receive a small but important number of Ottoman soldiers for defense. Stefan also sent his chancellor Isaac to meet with John Albert and try to negotiate an end to the invasion. If John Albert had any gift for diplomacy, it was absent now. He responded by throwing Isaac in prison. That single act made war inevitable. Polish troops pressed deeper into Moldavia, expecting soon to be joined by Teutonic reinforcements. Yet Stefan secured his own powerful allies. Over 10,000 Hungarians joined him, thanks to the support of Vladislaus across the border. He now stood with Moldavian soldiers, Ottoman reinforcements and Hungarian allies, while John Albert remained isolated. Worse still, a plague broke out among the Polish army during their siege. Their forces crumbled not under Stefan's walls but under disease and despair. By October, Stefan turned the tide completely. He drove the Poles out of Moldavia with relentless force, giving them the choice to retreat or die. Moldavian raids into Polish territory followed, making his point unmistakable. John Albert, like many before him, learned the hard way that Stefan was not a man who could be removed from power. In the aftermath, new alliances were forged. Hungary, Poland, and Moldavia signed agreements, and Stefan once again secured his position as more than a regional prince. He was now recognized as a major figure among kings, but time was beginning to catch him. Stefan had ruled for decades, bringing relative stability to Moldavia compared to the constant upheaval in neighboring Wallachia. He began preparing his son Bogdan to inherit the throne. Stefan's rule was admired and feared in equal measure. Many boyars saw him as cruel and tyrannical. because he strengthened central authority, often at their expense. The peasantry, however, adored him. To them he was a guardian, a just ruler who protected their land and gave them a voice against the aristocracy. He supported the Orthodox Church, building new monasteries and donating lands. He rewarded loyalty and punished betrayal. To outsiders he appeared harsh, yet to his people he was often a shield. His foreign policy, however, invited criticism. He persecuted Hussites, Roma, and Jewish communities within Moldavia. At the same time, he often welcomed foreign experts who could help him with politics, strategy, and learning. These outside influences sharpened his skill at playing the great powers against each other. Stefan treated kings and emperors like chess pieces, moving them across the board for Moldavia's survival. His political genius was astonishing, and it allowed him to maintain power for nearly half a century. His military ability matched his political mind. Stefan claimed to have fought more than 30 battles and won 34 of them. He never stood alone. Allies often provided troops, but it was his resourcefulness that ensured Moldavia always had help. His reputation spread across Europe as a man who could not be broken. By the late 1490s, Stefan's son Bogdan began to share power with him. One of their first successes together came in 1499, when Moldavia ended its formal subordination to Poland. A year later, father and son stopped paying tribute to the Sultan and sought new opportunities, with Venice offering to join in the Venetian-Ottoman conflict. They even requested Venetian physicians to treat Stefan, whose health was failing. A doctor named Matteo Mariano came to Moldavia, but despite his efforts, Stefan's strength waned. The old ruler still tried to wage war against the Ottomans. Attempts to retake Kilia and Setatea Alba failed, and Moldavian campaigns met with defeat. Clashes with Tatars, Ottomans, and Poles continued, but by 1503 peace was restored. Moldavia once more agreed to pay tribute to the Sultan. Before his death, Stefan pressed Bogdan to continue these payments. Moldavia could not afford another great conflict. By then, Stefan's body was frail. His leg had been injured long ago in battle against Vlad Dracula over Kilia, and never fully healed. Now it was not even his worst ailment. Years of struggle drained him. He had ruled for 47 years. He had defended his people against enemies on every side. He had balanced alliances and wars with unmatched brilliance. He had raised his son to continue the work. He had done all he could. On July 2, 1504, Stefan the Great died. His one regret was that Kilia remained outside Moldavian control. For all his victories, that single failure weighed upon him. Yet his legacy endured. He left Moldavia stronger than he had found it. He left a memory of stability, leadership, and defiance. His people remembered him not only as a prince, but as a guardian of their land. Stefan the Great's reign was a rare story in Eastern Europe of the late 15th century. Surrounded by empires and rival kingdoms, he built a principality that stood firm. He played the mighty against one another, like a master at the game of survival. His name became a symbol of resilience. For Moldavia, he was more than a ruler. He was the embodiment of endurance in an age of constant storms.